Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Words with me, Dimple Thakrar, your host. Oh my gosh, today have I got the most incredible human being on the planet as a guest today. It is this man. Before we start, you can read his bio. His bio is incredible. I want to talk to you about how he's touched my heart. You cannot even begin to imagine what it's like for a mother to leave her child across the pond and know that she doesn't have family. This man became her chosen family. He created a community for her, with her, included her, and he opened his heart and his family to her, especially at a time when she needed it the most. I'm forever in debt to this beautiful man, and it is an honor and privilege, I'm going to fill up now, to have Hector here with me today from Three Jewels. Welcome to Beyond the Words.
Dimple, you're going to make me like I'm already deeply emotional about the words you just said. It's been an incredible ride and a privilege, a pleasure to be an extended part of your precious family. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And you are my first international in-person guest, so I feel deeply touched that you said yes, and the connection we have. I'm actually shaking because, for those of you who don't know, Hector runs an incredible organization, and I call it this tiny little gem in Manhattan called Three Jewels. And Hector, tell us how it all began.
Yeah, there's so many ways to enter that story. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's really a pleasure. And I hope the stories make some sense to people. Yeah. I, like most Australians, so I was born in Argentina. I usually say that I was born there when I was very young, just because I'm an old dad jokes person. But yeah, in Argentina, my parents had a difficult economic and political situation, and they migrated us to Australia.
Right.
So I grew up in Australia. My dad, very proud, as soon as we landed in Australia, he's like, we are no longer Argentinian. And that was pretty radical for a proud Hispanic dad. He's like, that country couldn't sustain us. We've been welcomed by another country.
Wow.
We
so
have
shifted his identity.
Completely. He even he had a beard and mustache. He shaved it all
Wow.
as well. And he's like, from today, we are Australian. I don't want you speaking Spanish at home. I don't want you with Spanish friends.
Interesting.
Find your way to become Australian. And so I'm 10. So, of course, by the age of 17, 18, 19, I'm fully Australian, can't speak Spanish. And like every Australian, I'm sure you know many, when high school finishes or just before university or around graduation time, we go backpacking to discover the world because we're so isolated.
Ah, okay.
Right? So I did my backpacking, but I didn't want to do London like most Australians, to go and find your roots. And my roots weren't there. So I did South America, and the only way to get there was through New York.
Okay.
At the time, flights had to refuel along the way.
Yeah.
And in one of the trips to New York, I was going to a housewarming party to a friend of mine's, and I walked into the wrong party.
The right party.
Ultimately, the right party. I'm in my 20s.
Yeah.
By this stage, I'd given up hope in spirituality. I thought all organized religion is weird. Any spiritual woo-woo thing is definitely not for me. It's logic, reason,
Yes, yes.
There's a clarity about what I should do. I was reading Ayn Rand. I was in my backpack. I don't know if you know Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead and her philosophy. It's like pure logic, but no heart. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, we can debate that later.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around the world renouncing all organized anything. And I'm going to a housewarming
complete surrender.
Complete. Yeah. Not only that, like letting go of the identity of family, Australia. Like I was still a migrant kid.
Wow.
With sort of negative self-image about not belonging.
Okay. So you felt that internally.
I would have been surprised to find out. But it was there, like it was driving my behavior.
Right. Do you think that had something to do with the fact that your father discarded his heritage immediately.
Oh, I see. No, it was more to do with not feeling accepted in Australia. Not
Okay.
being blonde, blue-eyed, surfer, six-pack,
Okay.
eating salami in the playground and thinking and being teased. But it was more to do with that.
Okay.
I never longed or identified with Argentina,
Okay.
really. Yeah, it wasn't none of those romantic things happened until later.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
in one of those trips, I'm in New York. I'm about to go get super drunk with my 20-something-year-old friends at my friend's housewarming.
Yeah.
And it said, opening night, 3 Jewels. And I'm like, oh, they gave it a name or something. Like, I can't remember what made me go in.
Right.
Because it was obviously not my party. I walk in there and there's these Tibetan monks and nuns.
Wow.
It's just filled. It's like the clergy of Buddhism is in this tiny little hole in the ground on the street that I was supposed to have the housewarming party. I went in and this beautiful nun, she's from Barbados, so shining eyes, big smile. She saw that I had a housewarming party. She grabbed my hand, grabbed my gift, and said, "You brought a gift for Tara." And I'm like, "Tara's not my friend's name." I'm a little confused. By the time I realize I'm in the wrong place, I'm at the back of this little 3 Jewels, and there's a statue of a female Buddha looking stunning, and she grabs my housewarming gift and puts it as an offering to this altar. And I'm like, this is weird. This is not my friend's party. And it's Buddhism, and then a whole bunch of other things that happened, and I had to get my way out of there. But on my way out of there, I met a bunch of people and tried to ask them what's Buddhism. None of them could give me an answer. I went home. No, I didn't. I went next door to the party.
Yeah.
Got super drunk like 20-year-olds do.
Yeah.
And went home and had the most incredible, prolific dream I
Wow.
have ever had.
Wow.
Ever. Like it's burnt into the retina
Wow.
of my consciousness. But the summary of the dream, the thing that made me behave differently the next morning was being chased by shadows and this like typical story in a dream. And this beautiful girl that I'd met at 3 Jewels comes out from behind the bushes and says, "Stop running, Hector, stop." And she points to the skyline of New York and she's like, "You found home, your home. This is your home."
Gosh, this was at 20.
This is 20-something. And in the center of the skyline of New York is like a massive cathedral, 3 Jewels on top of it. And it shifted a feeling in me.
Wow.
Like I'm not one to think,
No, but
dreams.
energetically, your body cells moved.
They moved. And I woke up that morning. I didn't go to work. I had to go and find out what this place was and who this girl was that I'd met. She was 17. Her name was Aura. Her eyes, her dull eyes.
What a name.
Yeah, exactly. So I went back there. She wasn't there. The party had finished. It was just the nun, the original nun. And I'd brought with me a book that I'd found on the basement of my apartment called Secret Buddhist Teachings or something by Alexandra David Neal. And I'm like, I don't know what this book is. I never opened it. It's confusing. I don't know why I even have it in my house. And she's like, "We've been looking for this book for ages. It's a rare something." And then she gave me a book on meditation in return. And then every day I started learning to meditate. And
What made you do that? What was it that drove you to learning every day, like that commitment?
Yeah, it was also the same pride that I described in my dad. I mean, I had a 20-year-old. I know everything,
Yes.
And so in that first visit to 3 Jewels, where I gave that book to those people, there was a monk teaching meditation. And he's like, "Hey, I'm teaching a meditation. You want to sit?" And I was the only one. And I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, easy, right? Meditation, whatever that is. It's 90s, so nobody, it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
And he asked me whether I thought my mind was mine. And I thought it was an odd question. And I'm like, "Of course it's mine." It's like, "So you think you can have agency over your mind, your control over your mind?" I'm like, "Of course, it's my mind." And he's like, "Okay, let's see if you can keep your attention on your mind at will for 10 seconds. Let's just follow the breath." And I couldn't for half a second. As soon, if you get distracted, come back. And I'm like, I'm never going to get distracted. It's my mind. I had never tried to pay attention to the very thing that runs the show. The thoughts run my emotions. And so I didn't know the etiquette of meditation, so I stopped him. I'm like, wait. I'm not in the focus. So can we do it again? I'm sure he must have thought it was odd because no one would ever do that nowadays. People sit there and pretend that they're having a meditation, but I was dumb. I'm like, it didn't work.
Well, I'm more curious.
Yeah. So then he's like, no, let's start again. See if you can do 10 seconds or 5 seconds. And I'm like, it's my mind. Of course I can do 10 seconds. And I was very frustrated that I couldn't get my attention to not be distracted to thoughts or feelings or anything. It was very clear to me I had zero agency over the thing. And in that moment, I think intuitively I knew I was no longer in control like I thought I was. Something else deeper was running the show, and I just got a glimpse. I just opened the trap door and I saw something else is running the show, these impulses, these drives. And unless I can hold it, unless I can have agency over it, my whole life is done. So I asked if I could come back tomorrow to learn again.
Wow.
And then tomorrow, and I grew it from like 2 seconds, 1 second to 10 seconds to just a breath.
So what was the driver for you? I'm curious, like a young guy at 20.
Yeah.
What was the driver for you was it the ego wanting you to get control over your mind?
Yeah.
know?
A couple of things. The context of being in New York, and I had trouble at work. I had moved here. By that time, I'd moved here.
So
to
you
start
didn't
a
do the
business.
backpacking. You just stopped.
I did 2.5 years of backpacking, and in one of those rounds, I stayed
Okay.
for 9 months.
Okay.
Or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And eventually I moved here.
Right.
So in that process, I had a bad relationship with work, with my business partner. We'd opened up a photo agency, and I thought we were partners, but it seemed more like he was my boss.
Okay.
And I think
Yes.
the angry boss story.
Yes.
Where there's a TED talk about
Yes.
it, right?
Yes.
So.
A phenomenal TED talk about it, by the way. We will.
Thank you.
post that.
It was my first epiphany. Once I got
Yeah.
to realize that my mind and all my feelings was running the show, I realized no amount of backpacking, unless I sorted this out, I felt like dead fish on a river, just going with the stream. And I don't know, I've always yearned for purpose, meaning, drive. I mean, I tried religious practices when I was younger. I tried all sorts of things, like the philosophy. I tried being successful at business, but something lacked. I was missing something that was more encompassing and more meaningful. That's not to say that as soon as I realized I didn't have agency over my mind, that suddenly I became a Buddhist. What happened really is for 2 years, I just resisted everything that was dogmatic about that system until I got to the core of the purpose of that system. It's just one of many ways that humans found out how to do something that gave them purpose, meaning, and agency. There's many other traditions, like we're currently addicted to the neuroscience or the biohacking. That's not going to last. Some people are going to get upset because it didn't work, and so they're going to look for the next thing and the next thing. And I was investigating in my 20s, like everyone does, investigating this and that. But I can't describe what it is that magnetized me to continue, because it took a lot of effort to realize that I could meditate for 3 minutes. Yeah. Like for 3 minutes. And I don't know, somehow having the agency over my mind's direction, intuitively I knew had a big implication. Now, studying and practicing and teaching this for 30 years.
Yeah, 30. Gosh.
30 years. Next year we celebrate our 30th anniversary of that opening night party.
At 3 Jewels.
At 3 Jewels, yeah. Never
You're
did I
3
think.
Jewels now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never did I think I would be in that position. That dream from Aura, pointing to that building, saying, "You found home, this is your home," that I'd be responsible for creating that experience for other people. One of them, your daughter.
Yeah. I want to recap something here, because I want this point to land. What I love to do in this podcast is extract from the stories, right? And there's something I want the viewers to hear in this story. Hector didn't ignore the signal, the sign. You didn't ignore the dream. How many of us are having dreams and signals and signs that we don't act upon, right? You had the courage to act upon it, and it made no frigging sense.
At all. Zero.
Like 0 sense, right? Yeah. And you also had the awareness that there is something more for you to leave this planet with, right? At a very young age. Yeah. There's a lot of people, and you and I have worked with super successful men and women that never achieved that in their lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And so what's so beautiful about this story is, and certainly my viewers will know many of my stories start like that, where I have an epiphany and I just act on it. It's the reason we're in it where we live right now. And we've sold our huge home in Manchester, right? An epiphany, right? It's the reason Maya, my daughter, came to New York, because she knew to act on these epiphanies. And so just think about this, guys. Had Hector not have acted on that, right, we wouldn't be celebrating 30 years of 3 Jewels. And I want to go deeper into what 3 Jewels actually is, right? But I just want this to land, guys. If you're having an epiphany right now, and an epiphany isn't something that's unusual or different, it's just a dream, it's just a message, it's just a voice.
It's a pull.
It's a magnetic pull that you can't not.
Yeah. And what I liked about it, looking back, okay, I fought it for 2 years. I really did.
Yes,
okay?
there's resistance. There's always going to be
an argument with that pull.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But what I realize now is that I'm not a great practitioner because I've been doing it for 30 years. I've been managing the resistance for 30 years, and and I'm stubborn, and that's why I'm still around. You see what I mean?
Yes.
But in what I can say right now about that journey of having epiphanies, drivers, dreams, hopes, and resisting, there's something good about the fight too.
Correct.
There's the learning to discern between unreasonable impulses, which is just like, I just want to feed myself dulce de leche ice cream.
Yeah.
You know, because that's my dream. If I could just swim in dulce de leche ice cream.
Please, God.
You see what I mean? Like there's that, and then there's something that connects to that unshapable purpose, that thing that's bigger than me, and that had that quality. So there's a quality to certain appearances in my mind,
which is huge, and that's the key, right? These dreams, these epiphanies, will be not only of service to you, but they are of service to the highest good, the greatest good of all. And that's the pull, because as humans, we're connected. Yeah, we want to do good for all.
I'm glad you're saying that. Yeah, because it begins to describe why certain pulls have magnitude and others don't. And there's a humbling experience when you get called to do something or get pitched into doing something you really don't want to do.
Yes.
Because it makes sense in a nonsensical way.
Correct. There's no logic to it.
At that point, you do have to go beyond the boundaries, the limits that we create through logic and reasoning.
Yeah.
But you could test it and resist it with it. And then at some point, you have to dive.
And I actually believe the resistance is a lesson in surrender.
Yeah.
It's a lesson in, can you let go? Firstly, can you be aware that you're resistant?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And secondly, can you handle the physical, emotional, spiritual sensations that go on with the resistance to be aware that that's what it is, and then decide to be humble enough to let go.
Yeah, and what a lesson, right? To recognize. So you could take on those epiphanies, which I'm doing now more and more. I don't talk about it that much, so it feels like new stuff to talk about. But in the surrender into that thing that is bigger, that pull, that calling, that driver,
that you don't even know.
Don't have a clue, right? And I think in other traditions, they call that faith, but I don't know. I'm hesitant to say that.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like faith.
Yeah, it's not, right? But there is a leaping into the unknown, which reveals so much. And then the objections in my mind sort of are weaving out my limits.
Correct.
You see what I mean? Like it's like you are aware that that's a limit, and you're aware, and if the goal is to become limitless, right? With bliss and limitless, you can't have limits. But that's the ones I have. So I have to work through that. And how do you work is this diving in, this surrender. And it feels correct.
Yes,
It's hard to
even though
say
it's
that.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It feels, yeah. And also the other key is that 30 years, right? You've been doing, I often get asked, when do we get to when does it stop?
When does
That's
it
the
finish?
joke.
Yeah.
That's the joke, right? Because just when you think you've got to the place, you get gifted another opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
Or-
There's this great story or metaphor in Tibetan Buddhism
Yeah.
where the bad news is that there is no ground.
Right.
I'm sorry, you won't get to that
You
limit.
don't hit the ground.
You don't hit the ground.
Yeah.
So you're falling.
Yes.
That's the bad news.
Yeah.
The good news is that there is no ground. You're just flying.
yeah.
You see, for eternity flying. So
It's beautiful.
It's really how your mind engages with it, right?
Yeah.
So you're afraid, you need a limit, you need something to ground yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're missing out on flying.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool, right?
Doesn't that take some chutzpah, something, doesn't it require some trust in yourself?
Yeah. And here's where the word faith comes in. Faith in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Faith that you're okay.
Yeah.
You're always going to be okay. You're always taken care of, right?
Yeah.
So I want to switch gears a little bit now, and I want to share the story of, let me just share it and then we'll go into it, okay?
Yeah, of course.
So I know that Maya, my eldest, she came to New York. It was her dream. It was an epiphany at 14. It was crazy as hell. And we were like, okay, if that's your dream, we will absolutely support you and we'll make it happen. She wanted to go to the best college for fashion and all the things, right? And when I look back as a mother, I think I was just more. A lot of my friends were like, "How did you let her go? And it's so far away." And I was like, I don't think I ever thought about it like that, because my feeling was, it's not about my life. If she's having this pull, it's hers. And I trust in the foundations that I've created from age dot, right? And so anyway, she comes to New York, she goes to Parsons. Within the first year of being here, I am completely oblivious to all of this. I didn't even know this was happening. The first time I found out was when she did her speech at Three Jewels, right? And I'll full circle the story to help understand. And so first year into being at Parsons, and she meets this guy, her first love. Long story short, he disappears after a year. She's heartbroken. I had no clue about this.
Super heartbroken.
Right? And the father of this boy, who actually gifted her in the long run, it was the gateway to Three Jewels for her. The father of this boy is on the board at Three Jewels. And as far as I know, this is the story I know. He reached out to you and said, Hector, there's this beautiful girl.
Yeah.
My stupid son has broken her heart. She's incredible. Please take care of her.
Yeah, he did
right?
ask that. Yeah.
Right? And so instead of going to drugs and alcohol, she went to this tiny, I can only call it a TARDIS of love in the middle of Manhattan called Three Jewels. And it's a place where you teach meditation. It's a philosophy of life. It's a place where yoga is not only taught, but it's a way of life, right? And she went there, and you took her in. And she not only did you take her in, you taught her new skills. She actually became a teacher, and she went through the program and became a meditation teacher. Yeah. And then
that's the talk.
That's the talk.
Yeah.
And at the end of that program, they do a presentation, right?
Yeah.
Of why. Why
is meditation important?
And I still, honestly, I'm proud and I cry listening to that talk, and we'll put it in the show notes. And she talks about how she didn't feel worthy of love. And for a mother hearing that thousands of miles away, not even aware of that had happened, right? But then to know full circle, that she found love through herself, through the techniques that you gift these young souls, right? I am so grateful to you that you honored that epiphany, that nudge, that aura, that message, right?
Yeah.
Because you saved my girl. You saved my girl that day,
Thank you.
right? And how many other souls do you save? So tell us about Three Jewels.
I remember getting that phone call from Anthony. I don't think that Maya knew that I was tasked to take care of a broken heart that was going to be in the room that day.
I'm just like,
yeah,
gosh.
no, I know, and I remember her face. I remember my technique is don't be obvious about it. So I knew that she was in the room. I knew which girl she was out of all the people in the meditation class.
Yeah.
So I knew not to look at her.
Right.
So she didn't feel like you're the one I'm talking to.
But it was almost like it was a gift from God, this message. Yes.
Yeah. But I was deeply aware because, of course, I've been heartbroken. Of course, I've been far away from home. Of course, I was unworthy of love. I've lived that thing,
And we all have, all the viewers have lived that moment.
Yeah,
right?
And some of us continue to relive it. I think the miracle that was Maya is that she worked hard to process. She talked through it. She still does that.
Yes.
She's got this power in her that she will acknowledge something that's not quite right in her own heart or in her own mind. And as uncomfortable as it is, she'll talk about it, she'll go there and she'll work it. And I think that's a lot to do with Dimple as well. No, honestly, I see her taking on that responsibility for her own worldview, and she's the cool thing about Tibetan Buddhism is that we love debating. We're like, oh, that's what it is. Let's say the opposite to see where my mind goes. And she's perfect at that. Yeah. She will look at all the different angles about her limit or about her fears or about her hopes, and she will deconstruct it. And in doing so, she really is a teacher demonstrating to everyone around her.
The embodiment of the work.
Absolutely. So everybody that comes into Three Jewels, she's now like a icon at Three Jewels, a fashion icon as well.
Yes, of course. She's so cool and chic. Oh my God. I know. At 2 years old, she would check out everything we're wearing to check it was perfect for us to be seen with her at 2.
Yeah, we suffer the same. Yeah.
I know. I believe she's taking you.
She's like, have you tried this shirt?
And the orange jacket. You look so good in that.
Right. It's all her.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. You asked how many lives. So a couple of things that drive my life to do that, okay, is one, I identify deeply with the trauma that happens in your early 20s at life, where you're really pitched in to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing here.
Right.
I still deeply identify with that, and I know the struggle, and I know how simple it is to turn to something that is unhelpful, some addiction that externalizes the thing that you're looking for, awareness or validation or whatever it is, and I've done the drugs and I've done the sex and I've done the everything.
All the addictions. Yeah.
They never reach that place, which Maya very quickly learned, which is the place that filters everything. Who is Maya? What is my mind?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter whether a good thing or a bad thing happens to you.
There's no judgment. There's no judgment, yeah.
So for me, I deeply identify with, there's a powerful transition in your 20s where you really take up the responsibility for your world. So, and I learned that at Three Jewels in my 20s. I learned that my angry boss story, my feeling unworthy, my not sure what to do with the rest of my life, focusing my mind, understanding the movements of my mind through meditation. I saw that this tiny window of agency, and it changed everything.
Wow.
I got lucky with the dreams, and I got lucky that I heard aura, and I got lucky,
Well, one would say luck, or one would say you were open to receiving.
Correct. But, I've also seen plenty of people come to Three Jewels, so Three Jewels places, get the epiphany, and then I got the boyfriend or I got the job or whatever, and then
they go a different path, and it's just a longer route. That's all.
And which, that's why 30 years for me.
Yes.
And so to see someone that is going through something I deeply identify with, and then be a place where it can really help people if they want to engage with their minds to discover their own power. I don't know anything higher to do. So I've done that as an organizational change consultant, consulting for banks and so on. In the workplace, I've done that, but that has a limit.
Yes.
You see, I'm there for the money or the career or the thing.
Yes.
There's still this external thing. There's not 100% responsibility, except now some of the people I get to coach, they run organizations.
Yes.
That's different. At 3 Jewels, you only come if you really want to work that.
It's voluntary, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're there.
As opposed to I'm at work trying to get you to feel something. So for me, doing that work, and you said how many people, like the people that come through 3 Jewels, we started something like 5,000 people a year when I took over about 15 years ago, and we grew it and grew it. We have 63,000 visits a year.
Wow.
So I don't know if you can imagine.
And this is non-profit, right?
This is a non-profit.
It's all donations.
Yeah.
It's all donations and classes.
We charge for classes and to look hot and sexy in New York, and everyone's 20 and 30, so you got to look good in the coffee shop and whatever.
In your yoga gear. Lululemon.
Lululemon or whatever it is. But it really should be that way also, because if you're invited to identify with a deeper, higher purpose in you, why is it wrong to look
exactly
hot,
exactly?
And that's sort of Maya's take on it, and
yes.
she really helped us to level up a little. She's like, you don't have to be a meditator and look like that.
You can look cool and meditate. Come on. We have standards, darling.
And it's okay, and I think that's a higher practice than thinking that austerity is the only way to happiness. It's actually a mistake, I think.
Completely. It's about being authentic to who you are.
Correct. Yeah. And so 3 Jewels is a place where I don't know out of the 63,000 visits how many get the potent experience that Maya gets, but it's a lot of people that feedback. So it's run by volunteers. It's a non-profit. We try and help other non-profits where we can. We give away scholarships, and we build connections between brands and people that want to shift the mindset of those people that want to find their agency and want to help us. Then the other thing we're doing is we're sort of breaking the boundaries that people may have about a wellness studio that looks hot and is an oasis in New York City. Some people feel uncomfortable.
No, it's so lovely when you walk in.
Yeah. And so now we make sure that we lean more scholarships on people that might be, in different cultures or in different languages or in different bodies. And we try and balance. And you walk in there and the diversity there is authentic. I've got a little bit of about diversity and inclusion as a method, but I'm all for all humans, regardless of what you look like or where you came from. Your mind is potently powerful. If you can enact that, then people that speak like you, look like you, whatever age group, whatever anything, then you can be that agent for them. I'm basically doing a domino game. Like whatever happened to me, I just want people to taste it because it was the best thing I've ever had happen to me in my entire life. Yeah.
And it's so interesting, right? Because a random sequence of events, random sequence, I'm using my words with choice, meant that 60,000+ souls have been changed.
A year.
Because a year.
Right.
Because you went to the wrong party.
I know, I went to the wrong party and I had a dream.
And actually...
it sounds ridiculous.
Right? How many of us have gone to the wrong party and got frustrated that we went to the wrong party?
Yeah.
As opposed to, this is the exact party I should be at.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is the one. Right?
Yeah. It was...
Right place, right time. And interesting, you talked about resistance, and actually there was zero resistance even when you realized that you were at the wrong party.
Yeah.
There was curiosity.
There really was curiosity. It was a bunch of things. Like I told you about that book. Yes. I had found that book and I kept it.
And how did you know to take it there? And
I know, everything seemed too much. Like my brain didn't have enough brain power to process all the coincidences. So there was something bigger communicating.
100%.
Yeah, and what I feel about it is like, you have to be really dumb, Hector, for all these signs to come your way this week. Like, listen, there's another one, there's a book, and there's a party, and there's a dream.
And you brought a gift for Tara. And like, I really believe that we are the word that's coming through, and it's something that Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I follow a lot, uses quite a lot, that we're an organism.
Yeah.
All of us are collectively an organism. And if we're open to receiving the connections, then we'll be guided.
Yeah.
Right?
There's nothing but to trust that. I think Joseph Campbell said something like, the labyrinth has been thoroughly traveled. You do not have to risk the adventure alone.
No,
right? Like it's all done. Like
it's there.
Yeah, it's just
there.
new
it's
for
available.
you.
It's available. And it's this new for you. I love what you said there. New for you. The desire to be in control of what you know is so strong and so comfortable that unless you're willing to let go of that, you won't see the new for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that. The way I think about it now is that those desires to control are just limits. Dimple's bigger than that. Dimple's bigger than Dimple.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Hector is bigger than
the identity of who Dimple is.
That might be too small for this powerful thing.
Yes.
And what Joe Dispenza said, like with this organism, there's this idea in ancient Hindu philosophy. I don't know if you know about Indra's net. Do you know about Indra's net?
I've heard of it. No, but please.
It's this idea that we are interconnected, like a fishing net, like where the knots meet.
Yes.
But in each knot meeting, in each string meeting, there's a mind. There's your mind and my mind, and it is like a jewel, like a diamond of infinite facets.
Wow.
And each mind, each facet, each jewel, each dimple, each Hector is perfectly reflecting every other jewel on the net. Like, we are an organism, and Dimple can only have Dimple's experience of Hector and Joe and the rest. And Hector can only have Hector's reflection of Dimple. But we are collectively always in the presence of everyone through our personal filter,
It's huge. And what it's reminded me of, Hector, is that, even the reason this podcast is called Beyond the Words is because it was a whisper that came to me, and it was like, this is what it should be. And this podcast development was 5 years procrastination before I actually did it, right? And then once I launched it, it was like the information just kept coming through and coming through, and it was all just effortless, right? And even though the name Beyond the Words made no logical sense to me, because it's a podcast where we speak.
Words,
right? And yet that illustration of this net made me think about how whenever you meet somebody, you can speak for hours, but what you remember is what the feeling, the connection, right? What they leave you with. Like, when I think of you, Hector, I feel you, right? And
it's good to be seen.
Right?
It's really good to be seen.
Right? Yeah. And so what's beautiful about understanding that there's this net that we're all woven, and our perceptions are a reflection of each other from our perception, right? And yet we're connected. By something we don't see, we just feel it. And as human beings, we forget how powerful.
That communicates 1,000-fold more than the words you say. I mean, that's clear, right? I can say to you, "Oh, I really like your smile," and I don't mean it by my tone.
Correct.
Or I could say something of like deeply meaningful, and it might be the wrong words, and you still feel it.
And I still get it.
Yeah.
And I still get it.
So there's
It's the difference between a woman saying "I'm fine" and "I'm fine."
Yeah.
Right? Same words.
Yeah, same words, but you have a sense of what it means. And that's coded in us somehow, and it's bigger than our limited cognitive awareness. Like, our knowledge, our boundaries are too small, like I said, for what is that very large organism that connects us.
Like, we only see less than 0.00% of what their reality actually is.
It's 0.00 0.35%
Wow.
of the light spectrum is all the human eye can filter, 0.0035.
Wow.
So it's not even 0.5%, it's not even 1/4%.
Wow.
And this is it. So whatever
So
you
what
look,
else is there? Like
can you imagine?
right?
Like if we could access beyond the very physical limits of our eyeball.
Yeah.
And that's not even saying, but the eyeball sends electrical signals in a pitch black skull with tofu in it. And those electrical signals are sending some electricity mixing with chemicals, and some consciousness then interprets that as meaningful. Like if you really go there.
Like what is the story, right? And is it a story? Like, yeah, it's fascinating, this conversation, Hector. I absolutely am so grateful for the work that you're doing on this planet and the legacy that the living legacy that you're already leaving. You're imprinting in like so many people's hearts.
Thank you. I mean, someone gifted it to me a long time ago.
Yeah.
They kept gifting it to me, like, the teachers along the way. I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah. It's not possible for you to.
And you can feel the visceral resistance if I try to force something that doesn't fit this bigger thing.
Yeah. And so the lessons here as we wrap up for the viewers, I want to summarize, and then I want to ask you a question I ask all my guests.
Okay, sure.
So the lessons here, just to summarize, are listen to the whispers, even though they don't make any sense. That's the first piece.
Yeah.
The second piece is listen to the intuition that you feel.
Yeah.
Like it's an inner guidance. It's the organism, the collective organism that's pulling you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And number 3, there's always going to be resistance. You're not anybody special. There's always going to be resistance. And how we experience that resistance is really the game changer. Right? Is it a gift for you, or is it actually, like, I know when I look back at that story with Maya and I heard that speech and I cried because honestly, I felt guilt first. I didn't know this was happening to my baby. And then secondly, I felt pride because it was the biggest gift. And she didn't need me to take care of her because she had everything she needed to be safe. Right?
Yeah.
God created a network of beautiful men to support her, Anthony, to make sure she was taken. Like there was a reason that she had that connection with that boy to bring her through, Anthony, to you, right?
Yeah.
So I could have, as a mother, had real guilt over that. I hadn't experienced it for a moment, and then I experienced sheer joy and pride.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the resistance there. Can you let go of it and perceive it from a completely different way? Witness it. Yes, I admit I felt guilt.
Sure.
Yeah. Right? And then go, no, hold on.
Yeah. Well, you should be proud because all I created was space for her to shine. And what she shone was her as she developed in your family. Like, it's not, she didn't do it out of nowhere. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people coming in with heartbreak in 3 Jewels, and maybe something in their narrative didn't allow them like it allowed her. And I do, having seen your dynamic since, it's pretty clear that the openness that you create for your family pays off. It pays off to powerful people that will make a difference in their world, like Maya. Already is doing that.
Thank you, Hector.
I
appreciate that, because it's funny you should say that she shone. You gave her the space, because the first time I left her in New York, I distinctly remember it. She put me in the taxi. She's 17 years old. I wind the taxi down, and I intentionally said, I am not leaving this child crying. There's no way am I leaving this child crying. The memory she has to have of me is absolute pride and joy, right? And I looked at her and I smiled, and my heart was dying inside, right? And I smiled and I said to her, baby, this is your time to shine. Go freak. So it's funny that you use those words.
She shone.
Go shine. I said, you have everything inside of you. I am so freaking proud of you. You go shine. and the taxi pulled away, and I cried for 6 hours all the way home.
Of course. Thank you
Right?
for being that mum. Thank you for being that mum. Like, made many mums feel what
Yeah.
you were able to gift her, and me, and everyone that knows her.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
interconnected. We're in this.
We're interconnected. And honestly, my children have done everything in the most unorthodox way possible. And we've just allowed, right? Because we
Yeah.
trust in the unknown. So without further ado, thank you for being here and having me in New York and this fantastic studio
Yeah,
that
it feels
just,
good
it
here.
was so easy. Like it was just everything when everything flows and it's correct, right? So the final question that I always ask everybody is, if you could give the audience one piece of advice or wisdom that goes beyond the words, Hector, what would that be?
Don't be tricked by your limits. But the other side of that is there is some beautiful thing unraveling in each of you that is needed by the world. Like your particular way of being, like Maya, for example.
Yeah.
The world needs it, and to trust in that. Yeah. It took me 30 years of resistance, but there is a special gift in each one of those gems that is interconnected in the particular one that is you, that please don't let us miss out on that. Please lean in, take risks, and laugh along the way. Yeah.
Have fun.
Have fun and laugh along.
You are the funniest guy. Honestly, your jokes, you have to explain them to me, but I do get them eventually because you're so fast and witty.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And you often have to repeat them a few times, but I do eventually get it. And then Maya will often say, Mum, shall I explain the joke again?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. It's my little private game and party. Yeah, I'm here on Fridays. Yeah.
Hector, thank you so much for joining
What
us.
a pleasure. Thank you.
So without further ado, I want to say thank you, each and every one of you, for sharing your space, your time with us today. I don't take it lightly. It is a privilege and honor to serve you here on Beyond the Words. Take care. God bless.